Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Rob, and in today's video I'm going to talk about a TV show that had one season. I definitely would have liked to seen it have more seasons. It was a really cool show and all that stuff. It was called Streethawk. Had 13 episodes and I would consider this TV show a cross between Knight Rider and Airwolf because of some of the features that had it. Streethawk had one season, 13 episodes. It starred Rex Smith as Jesse Mach, Richard Venture as Lieutenant Altobeli, or however you say it. I'm going to leave a link with all the characters' names because there's a couple I can't remember how to pronounce and say along with their character name. You had Joe Regalbuto played Norman Tuttle, and you had another main character, Jeannie Wilson or something like that. That's the one I can't remember what she played. So there was a little bit of confusion within the storyline and how it was referred. They referred to it. So when they do the introduction to the show, like they did in Knight Rider, where one man can make a difference, and about Wilton Knight and all that stuff, where they do it like that. They say Jesse got injured in the line of duty. Now, however, that wasn't really the case. So in the pilot episode, he kind of got suspended because they were doing like a little supposedly charity thing. I don't remember the exact scenario, but they were in a junkyard and a bunch of cops were sitting there doing bats or whatnot, and they were supposedly doing suppose it was for charity or something. But Jesse Mach took the police bike and jumped it and all that stuff, so he got suspended. And then they were out in the desert, him and a friend of his, just out there to have fun. It was an area where I guess at the time it was one of those areas, like I said, this is 1985, where all these dirt bikers could go and just go ride, and I think they had races and stuff not there, because there was a bunch of dirt bikers there. You see in the background a bunch of people working on their bikes. So they show a scene where Jesse's friend is working on Jesse's bike, and Jesse was trying out his buddy's new bike. He says, "Oh, this is cool." But what his friends were doing was basically setting it up so he was getting a head start because they were going to have a race. They did a little printed out a little course for the map and all that stuff. So like I said, they were going to have a race, and so he rigged it up so Jesse's bike wouldn't start, and Jesse had to fix it. So Jesse did his bike, and then he's out riding in the desert, and his buddy basically ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was some sort of bad guys out there doing some sort of deal. I don't remember what it was. The main bad guy was played by Christopher Lloyd. Had an awesome old off-road truck. I'm gonna see if I can find it. find it and show a picture of you in this video at the end of this video of that truck and Streethawk. So his friend ends up stumbling, you know, coming across wrong place, wrong time. Ends up getting killed. Jesse Mach is he's zooming across the dunes, the dirt, the desert, and just stops to look at the map. Yeah, he printed his friend dead, so he knows which way to go. Just happens to look out over to his left, sees his buddy on the ground, in the dirt, dead, and then all of a sudden you look over and you see this big lifted off-road truck. Lifted off-road truck coming at him. He gets ran down. He ends up getting injured, mostly his knee. They basically describe it as all that stuff. But in the meantime, while Jesse Mach's trying to fix his bike, Norman Tuttle comes over. Now this is before he took off to go catch up to his buddy, telling him how he basically wants to recruit him, you know, wants his help and all that stuff. You know, Jesse's a little busy this time. Later on in the episode, Norman approaches it again at his house and tells him that, you know, he's been chosen to test out this prototype bike, Streethawk, and he's like, if you haven't noticed, I have no knee, I can't ride no more and do this anymore, all that stuff. So Norman says, well, there's a surgery that can fix that. So he looks into it, he checks out the operation, as far as like Streethawk headquarters, all that stuff. And so he ends up getting the surgery. He ends up, you know, working for them, testing out Streethawk. Now, Streethawk is the best way I can describe it. If you've ever seen Airwolf, if you've ever seen Knight Rider, like I said, it's a cross between the two. Now, it didn't have you know, artificial intelligence like it. It couldn't talk. It couldn't drive by itself. You know, with the exception of in a roundabout way. It was able to drive itself, but it wasn't actually, you know, like Kit driving by itself. And I'll get more into that in a minute. So, the ways it was like Airwolf is it had guns. It had a laser that pointed out. The ways it was like Kit is it could go up to speeds of 200 miles an hour like Kit could. It had a thing that was they called it hyper thrust, which basically made it be like the equivalent of super pursuit mode where Kit could go up to 300 miles an hour. However, Streethawk, because Streethawk was an all-terrain like attack motorcycle, hyperthrust had to be cleared by Norman Tuttle, because it was computer assisted, so they had to make sure there was no like nothing in the way as far as like, you know, a bunch of traffic or anything going on. So yeah, Norman Tuttle had to make sure everything was clear. There was one time that Jesse said that we don't have much of a choice, just clear hyperthrust. Norman Tuttle's like, okay, let me see what I can do, all that stuff. And so yeah, so like I said, hyperthrust was basically the equivalent of super pursuit mode in Knight Rider. Oh, what was it called? So they basically had the equivalent of turbo boost. So turbo boost in Kit in Knight Rider was when Kit could jump over stuff. And I forget what they called it. It was something lift. And now I honestly can't. Oh, it was called vertical lift. So what vertical lift did is made it so Jesse could jump over things, jump over vehicles, all that good stuff. That's what vertical lift was. There was one episode where Jesse was trying to protect a witness, had basically stolen Norman Tuttle's car to try to get away from the bad guys. They came after. She basically said she was going to go take a shower, snuck out the window, took Norman's car, and they went and located her because Norman had something similar to LoJack on his car where he could track it and find out where the car was. So they caught up to it. There was a couple guys, two blazers trying to run her off the road. So, you know, Jesse's doing it, going after them. She's trying to like fight back with the car. You know, at the same time, eventually the one car truck starts going the other way, and Jesse goes after him, takes him down. The other blazer is going after her, and she keeps going. So by now they're out of range. They can't track Norman's car anymore. So he starts heading up the mountain, and Norman's like, "Where are you going?" Because he's going off, basically off course. You know, just can't find her. Heading up the mountain. Not even really over a road, just basically all land. He's like, "I'm going in for a better look." So he goes up, he preps vertical lift. He starts doing donuts on the bike. Hits vertical lift. So now he's in vertical lift and the bike's spinning around in a circle. And they're using his helmet. Or there's a camera somewhere on the bike, whether it's on his helmet or on the bike itself. I don't know. But anytime Jesse's out on the bike, Norman can see everything that Jesse sees. So zooming around, and they zoom it, try to see, if they see the car or anything, and they find it. So they end up ended up rescuing her and saving him. Another episode, it was actually in the pilot episode. Norman's showing Jesse the bike, everything that it can do. It has flaps that come out, kind of like Kit did when they did the EBS in Super Pursuit mode. It had flaps that opened up in the front of the bike. So Norman says, what would happen? Said something, I forget along the lines about doing like a backflip or something, or what would happen if I hit vertical lift and these airfoils at the same time. Would I be able to do a backflip? He says no, or something along those lines. So, in the pilot episode, he's getting chased out in the field by the bad guy played by Christopher Lloyd in his big off-road truck. And they're heading for a cliff. Now, at this point, in a previous altercation, some of the Streethawk systems are damaged. So Norman can't see what happened, what's going on. But he could see like where Jesse's going and all that stuff. And knows Jesse's being chased by the bad guy. And Norman says over there, don't do it, Jesse. I know what you're thinking. It's not going to work. So Jesse's going, and he ends up hitting vertical lift, ends up hitting the airfoils, flipping, doing a backflip. Lands back on its wheels while the bad guy ends up going off the cliff. Now, there was only 13 episodes, and I definitely highly recommend the show if you can find it. I know if you type in Streethawk full episodes, there's a way you can find it and watch it. I mean, it's an annoying way, because it's kind of like going on YouTube, but it's not. There's something called Daily Motion, and you can watch the full episode. It's not that great. You can watch all full episodes, but every time you want to watch one, you have to type in Streethawk Episode 1, Streethawk Episode 2, and it's an annoying way, but I mean, at least it allows you to watch it and check it out. Maybe you have some other way to check it out. Buying it on Amazon Prime, maybe buying the DVD. I know you can find the whole series on Amazon. But all in all, it's a great show. I definitely liked it. Would have wished they made more seasons of it. Would have liked to seen it go farther. I don't know why it didn't. But I'm going to leave some pictures of Streethawk and the truck in it. And I hope you like this video, and I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.